Stellasoft really just wanted to understand the concept in the business first, which you did very, very quickly. The thing I love about Stellasoft is having a project manager who is long-standing, is consistent, who meets religiously every week at the same time, and really, really understands in depth the business of work that you carry out from a cost perspective as well, compared to developers in the UK. You do get exceptional value. So I have already recommended Stellasoft to a couple of people who have come to me knowing what we do now.
Alrighty, Edward, thank you for joining. We are here to talk a little bit more and a little bit more deeply about your experience working with Stellasoft and how the partnership helped you reach your goals. And to start this kind of like case study, can you tell me a little bit more about yourself, like introduce yourself, your company, your role at the company?
Yeah, so I was heading up a traditional high street estate agency for property in the south area region of the UK since about 2013. And as time went on, we decided that we wanted to create Quicklister, which is an online brand. And myself and my cousin Giles head up the management of this company. And it was a different demographic that we wanted to appeal to, which was a nationwide remote service that we could provide with my knowledge and Giles's knowledge on the tech side, my knowledge on the property side. We were able to form a company that ran alongside the original high street agency, and it grew to become its own entity. And that's what I spend most of my time managing these days up until now.
Okay, so this is how Quicklister appeared, correct?
Yeah, it's started very much as almost a side service to Cocoon Estate Agents, which was our traditional high street agency, and it was very popular as a lighter service offering to our local market. And that's when we had the idea to roll it out nationally and build something with Stellasoft, build something that was way more powerful and way more automated to service the UK market in terms of remote online estate agency. And that is what we have created. And it was a long, interesting journey to get to this point today. Where it's grown to be the big brother in terms of the two companies.
Okay, interesting enough. What was the state of Quicklister before you started working with us?
So we had a very sort of rudimentary manual situation in our office in Kingston, just outside London, whereby we would list properties on behalf of users who had paid for the service, and we would manually take calls and inquiries and forward those inquiries over to manually via email, forward them over to the owner of the property, who would then do the viewings themselves. And if they wanted to make changes to their property, we would have to do it manually in-house. And it was very labor intensive, but it was a nice service because we didn't have to actually physically be at the property to do the viewings. This was a shared responsibility between the owner of the property and us. And it was a good service in principle, but it was very labor intensive.
Okay. So any other challenges that you face other than some of the functionalities being too labor intensive?
Sometimes it was the sheer volume of inquiries that were coming through. I mean, we had a lot of telephone support, so we could. The phone would literally not stop ringing. If you put a hot property on the market, the phone would not stop ringing, and we had to cultivate all these inquiries. The inboxes were exploding, and it was a very, very, like I say, labor intensive management of the whole scenario was very, very intensive, and it was crying out for, and this was really with a few users at the time, with a few clients. It was very, very difficult to control and manage, the volume of inquiries coming through. So that was really the catalyst that told us that yes, there is an appetite for this in the market, but we need a proper brochure site and we need a proper management platform to be able to cope with this sort of volume, and also provide more automated tools for the client. Not only pay for the service, but also to, like the e-commerce functionality, to actually pay, but also to create and edit their own listings as they see fit. And that's when the whole idea for Quicklister was born.
Okay, great. How did Stellar Salt support you?
So it was, as you know, an introduction from Giles, who you had worked with in the past, and Stellarsoft really just wanted to understand the concept and the business first, which you did very, very quickly, and then understand the elements of the platform that were linked to very much to the property market in the UK. That's always the worry, is that the tech guys aren't going to understand the specifics of the industry that you're working in. And that's where I found was really, really impressive, is that the project managers that were at the time were understanding what was quite an alien concept to them initially, because obviously they have to understand the nuances that are evident and present in the UK property market. So once that had been scoped out, that was where the ball started rolling, and the system could be aligned with the requirements of our agency and the UK property client.
Okay, cool. Now that there were so many challenges back then, and now the time has passed, would you be able to summarize the results that you managed to achieve over time with the platform and the software?
Yeah, the biggest thing was that the big property websites in the UK, we were able, with Quicklister, to link to their APIs. And that is the single biggest jewel in the crown, because what that enables us to do, instead of us sort of fielding and farming these inquiries, there's this whole automated flow where almost in real time these inquiries are coming into our database, and they are immediately available to our clients, so they can receive email inquiries, telephone inquiries 24 hours a day. When other high street agents are closed, our agency is always open to them. And managing that connection and that the automation of that flow meant that the system was self-perpetuating, and the system was not only low maintenance from a staffing side for us, it was also a real convenience to the user side. So that was the thing. That was the first most important thing, was connecting to the APIs. The other most important thing, that from a user perspective, is the autonomy they have and the control they have over the creation and the editing of their listing within the platform, within their account. That is a real bonus to any property clients out there who are looking to self-manage their sale or their rental property. They can have complete control over the marketing, over the pricing, over the photography, over the descriptions. It becomes a tool that that is very much ingrained in the user's day-to-day management of their property, sale, let, portfolio, whatever it may be. So yeah, that's been those two elements have been the most fundamental that Stellarsoft have created.
Awesome. Okay. And now that like there are so many automations that are already incorporated into the system, would you say that there are any other labor intensive things that you are yet to eliminate from the business model?
Recently, there's a few things on the user side and on our side as admin, as it were. On the user side, there is some really nice stuff that we've got in the pipeline surrounding AI integration, namely on the property description side. So AI has the power to and the relevance to generate a property description based on the address and locality and features of a particular property. AI can generate a full property description in the right tone of voice.
Okay.
That's something we're looking to integrate because not everyone is great at English. Not everyone has English as their first language, but they may need to write a detailed description about their property. So AI can really help with that, and
Sure.
they can then tailor it to their specific requirements. Also, staying with the AI features, AI now has an enormous amount of data at its disposal in terms of UK property data, property trends, local property trends, sold price data from land registry and from other sources. So we are creating AI-powered valuation reports so users can be confident about their pricing. They can compare other local price points from local properties that have let or sold in their area. That really empowers the user to be able to be confident in their pricing and being confident with marketing their property with an online agent, as opposed to going door to door on the high street and asking a professional to do it, but albeit a expensive option. There's a much more cost-effective way to sell or let your property these days, and that if you have the confidence in the pricing, then there's nothing to stop you listening via an online agent.
Absolutely. Could you describe your experience in general with Stellarsoft, other than us understanding the business, like maybe like from the technical perspective? And out of all of the things that we do to support you, would you be able to kind of like highlight any specific areas you get the most value from, if any, of course?
Well, the thing I love about Stellarsoft is having a project manager who is long-standing, is consistent, who meets religiously every week at the same time, and really, really understands in depth the business, but also acts as that conduit between us, the non-technicals, and the technicals on Stellarsoft's side. So they're always contactable, always available, not obviously within reason, but always willing to jump on something if something is urgent and needs to be addressed, or something needs to be changed in a swift fashion. That's really, really important to us because sometimes things change. Sometimes there's an important element we want to implement, or something we really want to push through as a priority, and they're always willing to move things around, prioritize tickets that need to be pushed to the front of the queue. So Sophia, our project manager, has been great ever since we've been working with her for probably 2 or 3 years now.
Yeah.
And then obviously the technical expertise of previously Eugene, but now Dimitro, really give you confidence that they can action pretty much anything. And I thought that AI stuff might sort of stump them, but seem to have taken and run with it. So it's a really good sort of trio we have at the moment with me on the property side, Sophia the project manager, and Dimitro on the technical side. It's a really good team, and it's a consistent team, and that consistency is what we value most.
Awesome. Okay. Is there any area where we could improve on? I mean, it's a case study. I have to have it.
You have to ask. If I was being hypercritical, nothing sort of springs to mind sort of that is a glaring issue. But if I was being super critical, maybe I'd say that working remotely, sometimes there's a lag in communication getting from me to Sophia, from Sophia to Dimitro, and 9 times out of 10 that's absolutely fine. But then maybe one in 10 times something will be lost in translation down that chain, and we'll then come back and it's not quite right. So we'll then have to restart the loop and go back again. But that's me being pretty hypercritical.
Okay, thank you for sharing. And I think the last one, how likely are you to recommend StellarSoft to any other prospects?
Well, I already have, and I would do it again, because there is, for the quality of work that you carry out, from a cost perspective as well, compared to developers in the UK, you do get exceptional value. The cost implication to us as a company. So, and without compromising on the standard and the quality of the delivery. So I have already recommended StellarSoft to a couple of people who have come to me knowing what we do now, who are not after the same thing, but they're after, in the property industry, typically different systems, different platforms to manage different parts of the industry. And hopefully they will receive a similar service on their projects as well.
Cool. Thank you so much, Edward. That's pretty much it at this point.
No, I'm always happy to talk, Jack, because it's been quite a long-standing relationship now, and I think it's hopefully been fruitful for both sides. And
indeed, it was.
I hope the consistency of us giving you business and the consistency of you delivering for us is mutually beneficial, and long may it continue, because we still have lots of exciting functionality and plans to add to the platform.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Anytime as you know, anytime you can reach out to me, Vlad. No bureaucracy here. We are very small. You can reach out anytime, share anything, and you'll be heard. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. Sophia is fabulous, and she's very committed, and she always feels like she's invested herself in the brand and the platform. But there are some things that obviously she defers to you and to Vlad, because it's not her place to be discussing sort of costings and other projects and app development and stuff like that we've already discussed. So it's always good to have you and Vlad sort of in the background in case we need to discuss the future elements. But from the day-to-day perspective, I hope she enjoys it and she's engaged with it as much as we are. So long may that continue.
And actually, I mean, me and Vlad, we are always in the loop about what's happening, at least from the high level perspective, just because, any PM who we've got on board, and we've got, I don't know, like 10 or so with, I don't know, dozens, if not already over hundreds of active clients. And then basically there is a report of everything that's happening. There are smaller accounts for specific project managers. There are bigger accounts for specific project managers. But then basically at the end of the day, every single one have to share the overall overview about what's happening in the project. So anytime we can kind of go through the reports and see what's happening. So we are in the loop. Maybe not as detailed as Sophia is, but we are in the loop.
No one's as detailed as Sophia is. Yeah, she knows. I think she knows the platform better than I do.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes she corrects me on stuff that we have done or we can't do, or we should be doing it this way because we tried it that way before. And she knows in depth about the functionality and the full build. So
So she's the knowledge base in a way.
Yeah, complete. She's got tacit knowledge of the system and the platform and the whole pipeline of tickets and the history of tickets, because sometimes the history of the tickets can tell you a lot about the future tickets. So she's a valuable asset. So I certainly I need to keep her on board.
Yeah,
I
for
can't
sure.
take her off this project.
Sure, for sure. Sounds good. So what I'll do from my side at this point in time, I'll share some more context about what's happening in your mindset and in your future plans as far as the mobile application goes. And then anytime this conversation pops out and then you guys are ready to crack on and she hears anything from you about that, so she knows that there were plans and there are plans that you're considering a mobile application. And then whenever that happens, then she'll reach out to Vlad about the availability of Mitro, that React Native developer, who will be able to help you scope out, estimate, etc., etc.
Yeah, I think there's one key ticket I want to get developed on the web application. Not to go into too much detail, but it's basically so landlords can not only market their properties, but they can manage their tenancies on the platform, so they know who the occupants are, what their contact details are, when their landlord certificates need to be renewed, how much the deposit is, whether the rent's been paid, when the tenancy starts and ends, and all this information on their tenancies. This is when you really get full buy-in from landlord users. When a Quicklister becomes part of their business rather than just a website to list property on. It
Yeah.
becomes part of their property management day to day. That's where an app will stem from.
Okay. I think this conversation might have already happened between you and Sofia, but then maybe it might be a good reason. This might be a good reason for you to revisit that.
Oh yeah, the ticket's been sat there for ages. The reason we haven't pushed the button on it is because we make way more revenue from sales than we do from lettings. So I've always been reluctant to dedicate the budgeted hours to something on the letting side, because sales tickets have always taken priority, because that's where the lion's share of our revenue comes from. But we do want to develop the lettings service and the lettings offering. It's always that balance between what actually makes us some money on the sales side versus development now for something that will be valuable in the future. So
have you seen the app called Alpha Labs? I think this is the one. This is what I wanted to mention to you. So Alpha Labs is.
Sophia mentioned it to me actually.
So they do what you have just described a lot.
Yeah.
They basically have a lot of functionality related to kind of like rentals, schedules.
Yeah, I signed up. I added a property of mine just to sort of see how it all works. I mean, it works well. It's really well put together. There are a few things that are missing from it, which I was surprised that weren't there. But most of the stuff was there, and it was very well built. But the key difference between Alphalets and Quicklister is that Alphalets will manage your tenancies, but it is not linked to Rightmove and Zoopla.
Yeah, and that's a big problem. And actually, the reason, so it's me who actually sent that link to Sophia back in the days, because
How did you hear of it?
Because I know Richard. Richard reached out to me asking if we can help him develop the connection between Rightmove and Zoopla. But that back in the days, his application was built by a team. I think he paid a lot for it. It's my assumption, but I don't know. So he had a local developer, kind of like a CTO from the UK. And then they hired a whole team from India, which was low coster for them. But then at the end of the day, he stopped investing just because the revenue was not that big for him to invest that much, as far as I understood. And then eventually, when I gave him the proposal as far as the integrations go, because his platform is built with Java and Angular on the front end, he said that it was too expensive for him at the time, and he wanted to revisit his connection with the Indian team. So I think he is now working with the India-based team, and this is why he's kind of like. But I'm sure that at some point it'll end unless those Indians speak good English and know the culture. It's just my experience with those folks. But again, I'm not sure. I mean, they do also not have any like validations of the documents. I don't remember which service. We have it in Quicklister, right?
Validation of sort of compliance, know your customer sort of thing.
Compliance, yeah.
Yeah, we use Apply ID.
Are there any other integrations that you guys use? I remember there was one other thing that they
Third
wanted to.
Fort, maybe?
Which one?
Third Fort?
No.
You mean
So
for
they
sort of know your customer checks?
know your customer checks.
Yeah, we use a biometric sort of ID check. They're called Apply ID, and it's a very sort of user-friendly SMS link that goes out to the user. They take a picture of their passport, take a short video of themselves just to check it's a real person linked to the ID. They do liveness checks and address checks, IP checks, and they send us a report back. So because we've had problems with fraud in the past, which always revolved around theft of identity.
Oh, okay.
So in any case, compliance regulation was coming in anyway for agents, for know your customer checks, for money laundering purposes and stuff like that. So we integrated with Apply ID, and that has made the platform way more secure.
Yeah, so it might be something else then that he reached out about, but I do remember about Rightmove and Zoopla that he was interested about, and then there was something else that he wanted to integrate on the customer side of things. Maybe it was something around my ID, but I don't remember. It was like 1.5 years ago, maybe, or so.
Really?
Yeah, it was a while ago. I mean, we are still in touch. He actually emailed me like maybe a month ago or so, saying that he's doing just fine. He's not investing a lot, blah blah. He's running some shows as far as I remember. So I'm in touch, but we are not doing.
It's definitely a good brand. He may find it difficult to approach Rightmove in particular about connections, because Rightmove are very skeptical of online agents who don't physically do the viewings.
Oh, really? Okay.
And the reason that Quicklister was able to move ahead with Rightmove and Zoopla and on the market, because we had Cocoon Estate Agents as the brand. Our account was with Cocoon Estate Agents, which is a local traditional estate agency. So Quicklister is basically a sub-brand. As far as Rightmove and Zoopla are concerned, Quicklister is like a sub-brand under Cocoon. Our accounts with them are with Cocoon. If we were to approach Rightmove and say, hey, we're Quicklister, we're an online agent, we don't do the viewings or the valuations, but can we list on your platform?
Might be challenging.
Yeah, they're not sure strictly they would allow that, which Richard may come up against. I mean, there are companies like OpenRent that do. I think it's more on the sales side that they're more against it. But that said, we pay them a lot of money, so they don't want to lose our revenue, but they also don't want to lose our stock that we provide, because we are nationwide, we provide a lot of stock to their websites. So 200 properties a month.
Okay, that's quite a bit.
If they were to not allow something like Quicklister stock, not only would they lose the revenue, but they would also be passing the stock from their portal over to their competitor Zoopla, or to their competitor on the market, who would then have 200 properties more than them.
Yeah,
and obviously they need the traffic to their websites is determined by how much stock they have.
So you guys did good on the sales page side.